Setbacks have a way of stopping us in our tracks, don't they? They make us question everything. Why did this happen? What did I do wrong? Where do I go from here? But here's something I've learned. The way you respond to a setback shapes what comes next. It's not about ignoring the pain or pretending everything's fine. It's about reframing the moment and asking a better question. Hi, I'm Josh Taylor, and welcome to the Next Right Question podcast. Today, I want to share a moment in my life when things didn't go quite as planned, and the question that turned everything around for me. In 2019, I got laid off. It wasn't completely out of the blue, but it still hit hard. Just a year earlier, I had pivoted my career from pastoral ministry to marketing. After over a decade as a pastor, I knew it was time for a change. I loved the work that I was doing, but I wanted new ways to grow. So I stepped into something new, marketing at a university. It felt exciting, like I was charting a new path. But a year later, everything shifted. The president of the university resigned suddenly, and with that kind of leadership vacuum, big decisions started happening. Cuts were made, and one afternoon I found myself sitting across from my good friend who had to deliver the bad news to me. I'll never forget his words. With tears in his eyes, he said, "Josh, I tried to save your position, but the trustees needed to make the cuts." Hearing those words from someone I cared about and respected made it even harder to process. I wasn't just losing a job. It felt like losing stability, like losing momentum and a part of my identity. Driving home, my mind was racing. I felt embarrassed, I felt defeated, and honestly, I felt a little angry. I started questioning everything. Did I make a mistake pivoting my career? Was this all for nothing? And then there was that overwhelming fear. What now? When I got home, I sat down with my wife and I told her what happened. I was nervous. I expected her to feel the same fear and frustration that I did, but instead she surprised me. She looked at me and she said, "Josh, I'm not worried. You always figure it out. You have incredible value to bring. So what does this make possible?" And I remember sitting there, letting those words sink in. What does this make possible? It was a simple question, but it completely reframed my perspective. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, I started thinking about what opportunities might be waiting on the other side of the setback. That one question shifted my focus from why me to what's next. And here's what I've learned. Setbacks don't define us, but how we respond to them does. Most of us, when life doesn't go as planned, we default to questions like, why is this happening? What did I do wrong? How do I fix this? And those aren't bad questions to ask. They're just incomplete questions. They focus on the past, on what's already happened, rather than what could happen next. When my wife asked me, what does this make possible? It wasn't just a question. It was a shift in focus. It moved me from loss to opportunity, from fear to curiosity. I started asking myself new questions. What skills have I gained that I can use in a new way? What opportunities could this moment open up? How can I use this time to realign with what matters most to me? And those questions didn't just help me process the setback, they helped me take action. Losing that job gave me the time and the space to start something I never would have otherwise. It pushed me to take the leap into consulting, coaching, and helping small businesses find clarity. It was the catalyst for everything that I'm doing now, which is far bigger than I ever would have dreamed of just 5 years ago. But here's the thing. This isn't just about big moments like losing a job. This question, what does this make possible, is one that you can use anytime life doesn't go as planned. It's for the missed opportunities. It's for the unexpected challenges. It's for the times when things just feel harder than they should. So let's turn this towards you. Think about a moment in your life when things didn't go as planned. Maybe it's something big, a career change, a relationship ending, or an opportunity that fell through. Or maybe it's something smaller but still frustrating, like a project that didn't work out or a goal you didn't reach. What's your default response to setbacks like that? Do you dwell on what went wrong? Do you try to fix it immediately? Or do you pause and ask, what opportunities does this make possible? Here's why that question matters. It helps you reframe the situation. And instead of focusing on what's been lost, you start looking at what might be gained. It sparks creativity. When you think about possibilities, you start imagining new ways forward. It builds resilience. Setbacks don't feel like the end of the road. They become opportunities to pivot and grow. So here's an exercise to try. Take a setback or a challenge that you're facing right now and write it down. Next to it, write down as many possibilities as you can think of that could come from this moment. They don't have to be perfect or even realistic, just let your mind explore. And finally, choose one small step that you can take to move toward one of those possibilities. This isn't about ignoring the difficulty of setbacks. It's about finding a way through them. So what does this make possible for you? Take a challenge or a setback in your life and spend some time with it. So what does this make possible for you? Take a challenge or a setback in your life and spend some time with that question. Write it down, sit with it. Let it guide you toward what's next. I'd love to hear what comes up for you. Reach out to me on Instagram or maybe comment on this episode and share your story. I'd really love to connect. And if you're finding value in this podcast, I would love for you to subscribe. I'm dropping a new episode every Friday, and I'll be here with more stories and insights to help you ask better questions and take the next step towards a meaningful life. So until next time, stay curious, stay open, and remember, you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to ask the next right question.